Hey guys, it's SoFlo Josh and I'm over here at BMW of South Miami to film this 2025 BMW X3 M50 for y'all. With that being said, let's go ahead and get out to the exterior and let's show you this G45 4th generation X3. Now I want to give a huge shout out to BMW of South Miami for allowing me to film this vehicle. They actually just recently got here to the dealership and they allowed me to film this vehicle. If you guys are interested, make sure to go ahead and contact Michael Lazo. He will be able to assist you into getting into any X3 or any other BMW for that matter. Now let's go ahead and talk about the styling of the X3. Now the X3 has received a heavy redesign compared to that of the last generation. The last generation has been around since around 2017, so it was due for a redesign, and boy, the BMW changed a lot with this generation. So let's go ahead and talk about this vehicle right here. So we have the M50. So this one comes with the M Sport Professional package. So we have full LED headlights, as you can see over here. They have nice LED beams off to the side and a large projector beam right there with a projector cornering lamp as well. You got your two DRLs right here, and let me go ahead and show you what the turn signal looks like whenever you turn it on. Of course, it's going to be amber, which is to be expected. Up at the front, at the rear, it's still going to be the red style of turn signal. Now this does do the exact same pulse style that we have for the X5 as well as the 5 Series over there, which looks really nice. I like how they're both actually LED turn signals instead of just it being one, which is really nice. Overall, I like the black housing. With the M Professional package that you get a darker housing up at the front as well. You do get your kidney grills illuminated, so it gives it a more aggressive design to it. Now the sensor for your safety sense is actually going to be housed right over here off to the side. So the kidney actually has it's kind of like a design element within a shell, so it's actually hidden in a way, which is I quite like it. I think the styling of it looks better in person than it does in pictures. When you see it in person, you're actually gonna like the way it looks. You have your M logo right there, and then down here we do have some functional vents. So down there it will be able to cool that beautiful B58 that's behind. We'll talk more about that powertrain. Underneath we do have some of that exact black out appearance as well with the lower part of the front bumper to give it more of an elongated look to it, a more aggressive design element as well. And then off to the side we do have your active air curtain that's going to go around that majestic beautiful 20-inch rims over here. Now these are the two-tone effect. They're aluminum with a little bit of that gloss black design to it. Looks really nice. They have the Pirelli P0s over here, and this vehicle does come with all-wheel drive standard. Every X3 comes with all-wheel drive standard. There's no longer a rear-wheel drive version of the X3. So let's go ahead and continue off to the side. As you see, BMW has also gotten rid of the side fender area where they had a different molding connected compared to that of the actual fender. Now it's just one whole piece, and as you see, it is body colored. So there isn't a version of the X3 that comes with black plastic cladding. No, this is a sport vehicle, sport utility vehicle. So BMW went ahead and went away with that. Getting over here to the side section, as you can see, really nice. You have a body line that kind of carries on from the front fender and then tapers off at the rear area for the trunk, and then you have another body line that kind of divides to the lower section of your side sills and that lower part of your door. We do get the same exact door handles that we see in other BMWs. As you see right there, you get your M style finish for your side mirrors with full LED, and then we got a camera system right there. We do have 360 degrees camera for this vehicle, so we got one up here in the front, two on the side windows, and of course one at the back. Let's go ahead and carry on to the back. Now the back end design has changed drastically. As you can see, we have a new style finish to your tail lights. Now they kind of slimmed down what the facelifted version of the X3 for the previous generation. They slimmed it down and they made it a little bit smaller, and I actually quite like it compared to that of the last generation. I think it looks really nice. It's very aggressive. You still have that three-dimensional factor where the top part and the bottom part right here are actually protruding out, and then this is actually you know, indented in the middle, which is very, very nice. I like the overall styling. Back here, as you can see, the vehicle roofline actually does taper off quite a bit. Now they did that for aerodynamic purposes, but they also did it so it can add a sleekness to it. And also, I don't know if many of you know this, but there will probably not be another X4. We'll be getting an iX4, but for now we have this beautiful X3 M50. As you see, we have the 2 badges right there, and then dropping it over here like it's hot, we have quad exhaust tips. Now the M performance models have started to get quad exhaust tips. First came out with the X1 M35i, then the X2 M35i, and now it's carried on over here to the X3 M50. Now I'm gonna go ahead and add a sound clip right now so you guys can hear how it sounds. So continuing on to the back, as you can see, you do have your reverse light right there, right by the tow hook, and this does have an optional tow hook, so you can get the tow hook. It has your 7-pin and 3-pin connector right there. Let's go ahead and open up the trunk. I kind of wish that the BMW logo would have been like the push button, like how they have it for the X2, but nonetheless, really, really nice. As you can see, the same style of design that we saw on the previous X3 with the overall width of the trunk space to open up and put things in is the exact same thing carried over here. Now height wise, it has decreased just a tad bit, and that's because of the tapering roofline, with it being a little bit more sporty all in all. Now we do have a tonneau cover that still comes standard. You don't have to option it in, unlike every other brand or every other luxury brand. For example, Acura, you have to actually option in a tonneau cover for the RDX, which is absolutely insane. BMW gives it to you straight off the bat. Now let me show you how easy it is to take out this right here. Very straightforward. As you can see, you could take out the tonneau cover. Now underneath here, we do have a spare tire with this vehicle. Now if you didn't have the spare tire, you would actually be able to fit this tonneau cover into that slot right there, but since we do have the spare tire, unfortunately we cannot put that in there. But as you see, putting it back is very easy. Closing off there is very simple as well. Power tailgate, you can even lock it from the back. Full LED for your license plate reader right there. Now let's get into the interior and let's check out the back seat. So over here, depending on what you option for this vehicle, you can get a cloth style finish for the top portion. They will be on the top of the section for the dash, as well as the rear seat area. Personally, I like this better than that. It's kind of like a leatherette style finish, animal friendly material all in all, and it's soft. Even in the back, it's actually soft, which is really nice. We do have this beautiful espresso brown. Speaking of color, this is the Arctic Race Blue color, which I quite like, and I chose this specific vehicle to go ahead and showcase it because I think it has one of the best color combination right now you can get for the X3. Espresso brown right here, soft padding as well. You got your door handle. You do have a grab area right here so you can close the door. We have a little bit of that cloth material right here. Speaker system for your Harman Kardon, and then you have your door handle right here. One thing I will say is that we do not have the ambient lighting off over here to the back, which I think that BMW will incorporate that in about probably a year or two, but nonetheless, I think it's a really nice thing. We have this kind of like gunmetal gray finish to it. Window switch gear right there. We have some map pocket right there and a little place to put some bottles. Seat wise, very plush at the back, as you would expect for a vehicle that is to carry family. You do have your ISOFIX anchors right here as well, which is really good, and we can drop down the second row as well, which is really good. As you can see, it kind of has a little bit of a hump that kind of tapers upward, but that's kind of a given. This is a vehicle that is a rear-wheel drive vehicle. If it was a front-wheel drive based architecture, it would be a little bit different. You would have more of a flat floor. Like, now let's go ahead and get into the rear seat and let's see how it feels back here. So getting into the rear seat, we're gonna go ahead and turn this LED light for the map. Now we have a large panoramic sunroof. Now the panoramic sunroof goes beyond where you would sit all the way here in the back, which is very, very nice. Sitting behind myself at 6 foot tall, I have, oh my God, a ton of space. I would say probably about 4 inches to 4.5 inches of legroom space, hitting the back part right here. You do have some pockets here on the back portion, and also you have the accessibility for BMW stuff. You can go ahead and buy there and put like a tablet for the kids in the back. Really nice legroom. Feet wise, it does not, you know, get intruded. I have the seat lowered all the way to its lowest position, but nonetheless really good. I like the way that it feels back here. You do have some AC vents that you can control over here for the rear occupants, which is really good. You have a fan speed, and then we do have, for the first time ever in the US domestic market, we have a actual display, so you can go ahead and choose the direction of where you want the vents to hit, if you want it higher or if you want it lower, and you can choose the temperature just by this gauge over here. So very interesting, like the fact that is an option to go ahead and get. 2 USB type C's, feels really good back here. Headroom wise, with this panoramic sunroof, since the panoramic sunroof, the slider actually is farther off to the side of the frame right here, it's actually perfect. And the reason why I say that's perfect is because you're sitting in a chair and you have a lot of headroom. So anybody who is about 6'5" or even 6'7" has a ton of headroom. And for myself, I'm gonna give you my number right now. 6 foot tall, sitting up very straight. I have probably around 3 inches of headroom left, which is phenomenal. I think it's fantastic. It's even better than the last generation. The last generation's finish for the panoramic sunroof actually caved in a little bit more on the side portion of where you would be sitting, and it would actually intrude into the headspace. So with this generation, BMW has completely changed that. Now let's go ahead and get up to the front and let's talk about the materials up there as well. So getting over here to the front, soft padding just like at the rear. Like I said, feels like an animal free material over here. Very nice, soft padding as well. You got your window switch gear over here, finishing gloss black. You also do have power folding mirrors, which is really good. You have your trunk release, and then you have more gloss black as well. I think that at some point BMW could change this material to more of like the aluminum finish that we'll see over there in the center console area, but nonetheless, over here we have that amazing C-style shape ambient lighting. Now I have it in green over here, as you can see a little bit. It looks really, really good in dark environments, more so than in light, and I have it in its brightest setting right now. You got your door handle. You also do have 2 presets. You have a door unlock and lock, and then you can also control the vents that's over here off to the side, the velocity of it, which is really nice. More space down here, and you have a bottle holder as well. Seat wise, we do have power seats all in all, which is really good. We have forward, back, and we also do have the lumbar assist down here 4-way. We also do have the thigh extension over here where it will hug you a little bit more, so you have that little bit of sportiness all in all. So getting over here to the interior, right here off the bat, we see a new style finish for the M steering wheel. We have that nice thick 9-3 grip right over here. We got your paddle shifters off to the side with your boost functionality right there, cruise control area, and then we have your multimedia control section right there. I really do like this steering wheel, and the reason why I say I like this steering wheel, that it's flat bottom over here at the very, very bottom, is that getting in and out, you actually don't hit it as much as what you did in the M40i, which was the last generation, which is really nice. We got that nice 12 o'clock marker right there in red. Behind that, we have a large 12.3 inch digital gauge cluster. we have a large 14.9-inch touchscreen display that utilizes the new iDrive 8.5 system, which is really good. Wireless Apple CarPlay, over-the-air updates, Android Auto as well. It's wireless. You have everything in here. Now, an optional feature that you can get for the X3 for the first time ever is heated and, well, not heated seats, but cooled seats. So you can have cooled seats, and let me tell you, they do cool your buttocks very, very well. I have to say the fan is extremely great. It is loud, but it's great because, especially here in Miami, when the majority of the temperature is around 95 degrees, oh, let me tell you something, you do need that cooled function. Now, you could, of course, put both of them on. So if you want to have both the heating and cooling function, maybe you're somebody like me personally, I kind of like to have both. Maybe I have a bad back, but I want to cool down a little bit. That's the best thing. We do have heated steering wheel as well. It is a three-way style finish, so you do have 3 sections right there. Very nice. Getting over here to the center console, as you can see, we do have the wireless charging pad right there as well. As you can see, it will charge within a couple of seconds, and there we go, boom, charged, and it will notify you as well on the iDrive 8.5. We got your climate vents over here that actually are controlled through this little widget right here. Now, one thing I always complained about when it came to the X5 with the new design is that the way they had their vents was that a vent was up here, and then you also had a vent down here. Now, with this version right here, you do have still the vent that goes from here, and the reason why I did that is because when it hits here, it's actually gonna blow into this section to add more amount of, you know, fan speed, which I honestly understand where they're coming from. It's actually quite good. It's not as bad as the X5. The X5, I think, was just a poorly designed element when they did the facelift. Now, over here we do have some hotkeys for your max settings for the max front window and the rear defroster as well. And like I mentioned, off to the side over here, you can control the velocity that you want to have for the front vent. So if you want to have it not slightly, you know, you want to have it slightly open, you can go ahead and do that. Or you want to have it fully open, you can just slide it across really quick, as you can see there. Now, ambient lighting all across here. As you can see, I have it in a nice emerald green finish. We got that M logo right there. Nice cup holders over here with a little bit of bump stop right there, so you know your bottle can actually be elevated just a bit. 2 USB Type-Cs. Now, the phone charging is actually only on one side. The other side is actually not a charger, so you can add your phone there if you want to, but it won't be wirelessly charged. Over here we do have an aluminum finish for the bottom section right here. We got your switch gear to put it into reverse and drive. As you can see, we do have trajectory as well as with the 360 degrees camera. Now, of course, you can go ahead and choose these buttons right here so you can see how close you are, and the wheels do move whenever you are doing the backing up procedure, and as well as the front, and then you have the back as well, which is pretty cool. Like the way they have that. Now we do have the parking assistant panoramic view, so you can expand it off more, and then you have more settings with 3D view, trailer coupling view, car wash view. So that's going to be great whenever you're going to a car wash. It will put you in the line. It will notify you exactly if you're getting into the line or you're going to damage your rims. So pretty cool. Like the way they did that. Putting in the park is very straightforward. There is a button right there. Auto hold. We have your hotkey for your camera system. We do have a hotkey as well for your chassis control. So we got dynamic chassis control over here that you can go ahead and change. If you want to deactivate auto start stop, you could do that from that hotkey. Active drive off support, and then hill descent, lane departure warning, heads up display. So if you want to have heads up display disabled, you can go ahead and just do it straight off the bat from there, which is pretty cool. We got the my modes, personal, sport. We got efficient as well. Sorry about that. Efficient, expressive, relax, digital art, and silent. So all those little things you can go ahead and change. As you saw, I put into sport mode. Now we have the M colors. So we have red over here off to the side and down the middle, and then over here we have the red going from it to purple and then into the blue. So really nice. As you can see, the BMW logo actually matches up with here as well. Pretty cool. We have a hotkey over here for your widget for your volume control. navigation, media control, and other stuff. We still got the scroll wheel, unlike what we see in the X1 and the X2. Getting over here to the center console, we have more depth there, so we could put stuff in. We got a 12-volt outlet right in the middle, so if you want to add in that police detector or radar detector, you can go ahead and add that. Dropping it over here, as you can see, it does have dampness and lined with felt. Nice dash material as well with this faux stitching, and it looks pretty nice. I really do like the cabin interior. Window wise, seeing out the side windows, pretty good amount of length and height to it, so that means it's going to be very easy. And even that last window, that quarter window at the C/D pillar, you'll be able to see out there as well. Very nice interior. Now let's go ahead and talk about the powertrain. So getting underneath the hood, we have the legendary B58 inline-6 turbocharged engine. Now for this version, we have the 48-volt mile hybrid system. They have increased the horsepower of this vehicle. So instead of it being the 382 that it made last time, now it makes 393 horsepower, but the torque went up an insane amount at 428 pound-feet of torque, which is really good. Now you're gonna get all that power straight through BMW's version of the ZF 8-speed automatic transmission. It's specifically tuned for M purposes with this vehicle. And like I said earlier, we do have all-wheel drive that is standard with this vehicle. But with that being said, let's go ahead and take this new X3 out for a drive. Now let's go ahead and put into drive. Very straightforward, down into drive. And let's take it out to South Dixie. So the X3, the G45. Now this vehicle rides on the same exact chassis as what the last generation X3 rode on, but there has been a lot of improvements to both the suspension as well as the engine. Now with this M50 version, no longer M50i, it doesn't have an I anymore, they actually have the adaptive M suspension. So it actually is tuned compared to the last generation. You had to add that in. Now it's actually standard across the board when it comes to the M50 version, which is really cool. I'm glad to see that we have that. The overall suspension has been tuned. The reason why is because there was a lot of complaints from owners of the X3 stating that it was a little too harsh for just an M performance version. Now we're gonna go ahead and throw it into sport mode, and we're putting it into S as well, and we'll go ahead and downshift ourselves. And you could definitely feel that power delivery coming from that inline-6, that B58 with that 48-volt mile hybrid system. It's actually very good. You actually feel a lot. Now that all-wheel drive system has been changed slightly as well, which is really good. And as you see, very good. The performance has changed drastically, and I have to say the body roll is very minimal compared to that of what the last generation. You kind of felt a lot of body roll, and that was due in part to the suspension of that vehicle. The suspension wasn't actually tuned that well in that vehicle either. So that felt very good. I felt like I was on rails the whole entire time. Now this does have a M differential at the rear of the vehicle, so that means it's going to be able to designate where the power needs to be delivered if there's slippage. So let's say, for example, the right side is going to be slipping a lot. Well, power is going to be delivering there. There's going to be less power being delivered to the left side, which I think is really good. That was added in the last generation of the X3, but now we have it for this one as well. And I think they fine-tuned it to be a little bit more responsive, because there was a little bit of times whenever I was driving an X3 M40i where I felt that the M differential didn't do its justice. I felt like it was not helping as much. There was a lot of slippage within those rear wheels. Now, like I said, all-wheel drive is the name of the game here. We have all-wheel drive standard within this model, just like the previous M40i, but like I said, tuned differently. Suspension wise, like I said, adaptive. They're adaptive all the time depending on the drive mode that you're in. Exhaust sounds fantastic. Now there is a little bit of piping in coming in to the cabin, which is to be expected. Every vehicle within the industry right now is doing piped in exhaust, and unless it's something like, you know, a Corvette C8 where the engine's at the rear and you're hearing everything from the rear. But no, I mean, this is to be expected, but it does sound really good from the rear. There is some still burbles and pops just like the previous generation, which I thought they were gonna neuter, but they actually did not, which is a great thing, because that was one of the key characteristics of this, you know, of the X3 that was super popular. Now I'm gonna keep it in, you know, comfort, and let's go ahead and go around these bends again, and let's see how this vehicle handles around as well. So getting over here, we're gonna drive it soft. We're going around those California curves. I always like to call these areas right here as California curves, and the reason why I say that is because we don't really get a lot of curves over here. The back roads are usually our curves here in the state of Florida, but as you see, really nice. The suspension absorbs a lot of the bumps. There's not too much intrusion into the cabin. Even though we are on 20-inch wheels, I will say we have a good amount of sidewall with those Pirelli wheels. I believe these are the non-run flats, so they're more of the performance oriented wheels, and they feel really good. I am quite impressed how BMW has tuned this X3, and honestly, I'm gonna go ahead and say right now, this is actually the best vehicle in its current segment. This segment is highly contested right now. There's so many vehicles. You got the RDX, you got the GLE or GLC, whichever one, because Mercedes has so many different names. You got the Lincoln Nautilus, and other vehicles as well. And out of all those vehicles, the one that performs the greatest, the one that has the best suspension and so on and so forth, is actually going to be this one right here. And it's also going to be the most you know, performance oriented out of those as well, because, you know, right now the Acura vehicles, the RDX still has that 2.0 turbo, not even the 3.0 twin, you know, turbocharged engine. So but yeah, let's go ahead and get upstairs and let's go ahead and wrap up this video. All right, so now we're back up here on the second floor. Let's go ahead and shut off the beautiful B58 and let's get out and give you my final impressions. So how do I feel? Overall, I think BMW has greatly improved the X3 to make it the class leader once again within the segment. It has a, you know, potent powertrain underneath the hood. We get all-wheel drive standard and updated suspension, as well as an M differential at the rear. This vehicle is fantastic. In the interior, we have so much great improvements with a larger touchscreen, larger digital gauge cluster, the ambient lighting all across the interior, the back seat area as well. As you can see, the door opens very wide, so you're able to fit a baby seat into the back. I know that's a huge thing, especially for this segment. You know, a lot of young families actually buy vehicles like this. And then, of course, the trunk area. As you open up the trunk, power tailgate, really good. You have a ton of space. You got a tonneau cover, so you don't even have to worry about people peering into the rear section as well. But man, greatly improved in every aspect. That's how I feel about the X3. So guys and gals, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.